You know what's funny? For years, I thought the harder I worked out, the better I'd look. I trained 5 or 6 days a week. I'd focus on chasing the pump, inspired by Arnold. I tried to count macros, track my calories, take a bunch of supplements, protein powders, and yet I still didn't have the body I wanted. I wasn't obese or out of shape necessarily. I just wasn't there, right? That little bit of extra body fat you can see here on the left side made it look like I barely even worked out, right? No sharp lines, didn't really look athletic, just pretty much average. And the worst part, I'd feel guilty anytime I wasn't training. Like if I wasn't grinding the gym 5, 6, 7 days a week, I was slacking. And because of that mentality, I was never able to maintain this, right? So I'd go to the gym for 5, 6, 7 days a week for a few months, and then I'd fall off for a few months. And one day it hit me. It's not that I wasn't working out hard enough. It's that I was working out dumb, or rather incorrectly. So I started doing the opposite: less time, less stress, less noise. And suddenly everything clicked. I looked better, felt stronger, and I was spending a fraction of the time. That's why I realized something that nobody told me. You don't need to be obsessed to look great. You just need the right system. And that's what I'm going to show you in this video, the so-called lazy way to build an aesthetic body, right? A system built around efficiency, recovery, and real life. So who's this for? If you're in your 30s, 40s, and beyond, you're successful in your career, you have a demanding job or business, right? You don't want to spend hours in the gym. Maybe you've let your health slip a little bit, or maybe you're working out, but you have that little bit of extra body fat like I did, right? You want to reduce your body fat by an extra 15, 20, or 30 pounds and keep it off. Maybe you've tried going to the gym and realized it just doesn't work with your schedule, right? Maybe you were younger in your 20s, and even before that, you were an athlete, but you just don't have that kind of time anymore, right? If you know you're meant for more and you have more to offer to your family, your friends, and most importantly, yourself. What's needed for this to work, for my fitness system to work, is for you to have one moderate kettlebell, right? If you don't know, generally 16 kg or 35 pounds for most guys, more or less, right? You're willing to do an audit of your kitchen and buy real food, and you have a desire to actually change and become the best version of yourself. I'm not a fitness influencer like you. I get this all the time, right? Because I have a lot of followers on Instagram now, and people say, well, I can't work out as much as you. Listen, you don't need to be a fitness influencer. You don't have to be obsessed with having the most aesthetic body possible. Most of my clients are men ages 30 to 55, right? So this is not aimed towards young guys who have all the time in the world. If you fall in the demographic, right? I have clients who are 35, 43, even 54, 55, right? This is for you. This is what I'm talking to, okay? One of my clients, Paul, age 43, has 3 kids, right? This was his before and after. Now you can see he's not as shredded as I am, right? He has outline of abs and he's happy like that. He still has cheat meals once in a while and is able to do that with the right protocols in place. All right. But if he wanted to, he could get really locked in and get more of the six pack I have. But he's happy with that. He lost the body fat and he works out in a minimal way. Right. So before my system, which I'm showing you in this video, right, he was not consistent with the gym. He had a membership, but just didn't have time to consistently go. Right. It's very difficult to do that when you have a full-time job or a business and you have a family, your kids, right? He tried to eat healthy. He tried things like the vegetarian diet, which I also tried. And yeah, he saw excess body fat, especially on his stomach. The home fitness system. So essentially we implemented the 3x30 home workout system, right? Which is 3 workouts a week, 30 minutes a session. And simply have him start to eat real foods, right? After he lost about 30 pounds or 13 and a half kgs in 90 days without going to the gym, felt stronger, improved energy. Obviously, it looks a lot better. And yeah, so if you're looking for those kind of results, then stay tuned, right? So the first thing is rethinking what hard work means. Most guys, when they think of getting in shape, they imagine punishment, right? Long sessions, strict diets that consist of counting their calories and trying to get a certain protein intake, endless cardio. But here's the truth. Most of that doesn't build a better body. You just get fatigued and you eventually burn out. I tell my clients this all the time. The goal isn't just to see how much you can do at once, but it's about making small adjustments while getting stronger and leaner every week, right? it's okay to have great workouts and push yourself. That's great, but you want it to be sustainable, right? So my 3x30 system, which is simply just 3 focus sessions per week, 30 minutes each. If you want to do 4, cool, you can do 4, 3 or 4, but no more than that, right? Most of my clients do 3 workouts a week. All right. And so if you have a kettlebell or you're willing to buy one and you just use that one kettlebell, if you get obsessed like me, you can always get a few more, but just start off with one. All right. That's really all you need to get started and really all you need to see great results. People always ask me about the go-to weight, even though I usually use a 24 kg or 53 pound bell. 16 kg or 35 pounds is my recommendation to start out for most men. If you're much bigger than average, you can get a 20 kg, but 16 kg is usually great. Even when I travel and I can only get a 16 kg, that's like the maximum a lot of stores will carry in certain countries. That's still enough for me to get an amazing workout in. All right. So train less, progress more. If you're training 5 or 6 or 7 days a week, even, you're not giving your body enough time to adapt. All right. Again, we're not talking about professional athletes who have, a super dialed in system and that's their whole life. And even then they oftentimes burn out, right? We're talking about you're a guy who you have a regular job or maybe even a more demanding job. You're a business owner, right? And so you don't have time to be working out every day. And if you do, your body's going to start to break down, right? So you're not in your 20s anymore and you have to have a better, more efficient system, right? So the beauty of training 3 times a week is that every workout actually matters. You remember what you did last time. You can push harder, but you can also recover better and look forward to training again. If you want to do more, 4 workouts is fine as well, but 3 or 4 serious, real workouts a week is more than enough, right? It's the perfect balance between intensity and longevity, all right? We're not doing any of the chest on Monday, back on Tuesday, legs on Wednesday or shoulders and then legs the next day. We're not doing a steroid routine. We're doing this. I'm assuming you're natural like I am, right? You want to maximize your testosterone, build muscle, get cardio all in the same session. So the core 4 are the 4 most important moves when it comes to kettlebells. Squats, goblet squat or rack squat, but squats, rows, push-ups, and swings. If you were going to the gym, it could be a barbell squat, rows or pull-ups, push-ups or bench, or swings or deadlifts. But if you're working out with kettlebells, these are the 4 most important movements. If you watch any of my workouts, most of my workouts are variations of this. Not always, but probably 80%, 70 to 80% of the time, it's some kind of variation of this, right? And this is what I actually do, right? These 4 moves alone, hit every major muscle group. You're building functional strength, burning tons of calories, and you're training like a complete athlete, right? Not a gym bro, right? You don't need some kind of crazy split routine or fancy machines. You need the right plan. You need intention, and just have a simple schedule: 3 days a week, 30 minutes a session, right? Simple, powerful, sustainable. So I'm not going to get too much into the workout in this video, but if you do all of these as one big round, all back to back, you can do 10 reps of each if you're a beginner. Take a break, that's 1 to 3 minutes, and do as many rounds as you can in 30 minutes. 5 to 9 is the sweet range. If you can do more than 9 rounds, so if you're doing 10 or more rounds, then it's too easy for you and it's time to up the reps, right? You can also do an EMOM variation. So let's say you're doing the 10 rep version of each and it's too easy for you. Great. Now you up it. You could do, 15 for squats, 14 for rows, 15 push-ups, 18 to 20 for swings. And again, these are just general guidelines. Maybe you're having trouble with push-ups and you only do 10 push-ups. Maybe you can do more rows, your back strong, whatever, right? You increase the reps as needed. So you get to that upper 8 or 9 rounds, but it's pretty tough, right? That's like the sweet spot. And there's all these variations. Even on my Instagram, you can see the dead end 10, which is a similar version, no push-ups, but thrusters instead of squats. All right. But when you're doing full body workouts, that's the main thing, right? Maybe some people like to add in other things, subtract other things. That's fine. But full body workouts 3 times a week. All right. So nutrition. This is the real secret. All right. Especially if your main goal is reducing body fat. without having to be a slave to your workouts. All right. Let's talk about this, because a lot of guys don't fail because they can't do the workouts. They fail in the kitchen. And it's not necessarily they don't have discipline, but they don't have the right system, and they set themselves up to lose before things even get started, right? The most important thing, or at least the easiest thing, is if you don't buy it, you won't eat it. Your grocery list, is your real diet, right? So when you buy real food, you can't cheat because there's no food to cheat with. The only time you need willpower is in a grocery store. Eat 2 meals a day, lunch and dinner, built around things like beef. Beef and eggs is my go-to, is the foundation for what I eat. If you want to do fish or chicken, that's fine too. If you don't want to buy beef because it's too expensive, do chicken and eggs, but I prefer beef and eggs. Carbs, fruit, honey. If you have a major sweet tooth, just use honey, but fruit should be the go-to. Veggies are fine. Butter, cheese, Greek yogurt, all that stuff. No seed oils, no grains, no processed junk, right? No sugar drinks. Get your sugar from real fruit, right? That's how I eat. That's how my clients eat, and that's why it works, right? So it's not about restriction. It's about giving your body what it needs. Some people will say, oh, I can't eat cake. I can't eat these foods, right? This is restrictive. But you can eat as much as you want. Just eat real food. What's so restrictive about not putting poison, garbage, junk into your body, right? And when you do this, you realize it's actually easier to eat 100% real food and zero garbage food. Okay. Someone who's addicted to hard drugs might feel restricted if you take away their drugs. And I love this analogy. All right. If you heard this before, then you know how much I love this analogy, because it makes so much sense. All right. So if you take away hard drugs for someone, let's say they're addicted to meth or some kind of terrible drug, right? They might hate you for taking it away from them. But once they sober up and eventually their body overcomes the addiction, they'll thank you. Right. And if we apply this to processed food, guess what? Processed foods are addictive, but in this case, it's actually much easier because there's a natural remedy. If you're craving something savory, you can eat meat or cheese. If you really want a snack, I like getting a piece of, maybe I'll make extra beef at lunch, and so there's some left over. I'll get some of the beef, put some Frank's original hot sauce, which does not have any garbage in it, just like vinegar and cayenne pepper or something else, right? Don't get their buffalo sauce, which is new. It has a whole bunch of junk in it. Just get the original. I get that with some meat or some cheese. There's my snack, right? And then, meat or cheese. If you want something sweet, you can have some Greek yogurt with honey or some fruit. Your desire for these types of foods in the first place is not the problem. It's that you're choosing an option that was designed to keep you addicted and causes you to overeat. Fruit, you can get a pineapple or some kind of fruit that's really sweet, mango, and it's delicious, but you're not going to overeat it, right? Whereas if you get the sugar drink, you might overdrink that. You get the chocolate, you might overeat that, right? So try overeating steak and apples. You're not going to be able to do it even if you tried, okay? So the power of eating less often. If you're constantly, these are some meals I have, some beef, eggs, cheese, and a little bit of organic hot sauce. If you don't tolerate dairy, you don't have to eat it. I do. Some people do, some people don't. And this is Greek yogurt with some honey and some blueberries. All right. So I like doing 2 meals a day. Doing 5 or 6 meals a day is, I think, a complete waste of time. And again, that's an old steroid diet. It's not for people who are natural, right? If you have to do 3 days, it's fine. Just eat the same foods. You're still going to lose weight. But for energy maximization and for time efficiency, again, a lot of you are entrepreneurs or you're business owners, or maybe you have a demanding job, you're in tech, whatever, right? Or maybe you have a physical job. You don't have that much time to prepare food. 2 meals a day is super time efficient. I do lunch and dinner around 11 to 1 p.m. Not super strict on that, just depends on the day. Some days even 2 p.m., but around that time frame. Dinner 5 to 7 p.m. I don't like to eat later than that because I don't want to eat too close to bedtime. So that's how you do it. 2 meals a day. Some people call that intermittent fasting. I think fasting is extremely powerful. To me, intermittent fasting is not, this is really just time restricted feeding, whatever, right? 2 meals a day. If you want to eat at 10 and at 6, that's fine too, right? Don't obsess about it. All right. So my secret hack to getting abs, especially if you're in your 30s, 40s and beyond. All right. If you really want to, let's say you've lost some weight. A lot of my clients, they lose some weight and they're relatively lean and healthy, but they still don't have abs. If you want to take it to the next level, Save your carbs, which are fruit and veggies. You're not eating bread. No, oh, whole wheat. No, fuck that. No whole wheat shit. Cut that shit out, right? Your carbs are fruit and veggies and honey if you really want it, right? Save that for dinner. You will get absolutely shredded while not having to track a single calorie. All right. So eat a medium-sized lunch, which is carnivore-ish. So beef, eggs, dairy if you tolerate it, right? You can have organic hot sauce if you want some flavor. And then have a big dinner, which is more beef and eggs for me. You want to save some money, you can do chicken and eggs, whatever. And have fruit and honey as the dessert. Listen, pay attention right now. You have a sweet tooth, do this. You will get shredded doing this, right? No, oh, what about sourdough? Listen, I don't want to hate on sourdough. Just cut it out for a while, all right? Just try this for a month or two. You are going to get, all right, you are going to get abs and you can maintain this. All right, rest like an athlete. Now, here's the part a lot of people don't want to hear. Your recovery is just as important as the workouts. And I love this mentality because a lot of my clients, again, 30s, 40s, 50s, used to be athletes in their 20s. Now they think, well, I'm older, I'm not an athlete anymore. But still treat yourself like an athlete. You're just more professional, like you're a professional in your career, right? And you're an athlete and you have to recover like one, right? Even if you're not playing sports like you used to, or you don't have as much time for that, still treat yourself like that, all right? Especially sleep. It's not a luxury, it's part of the plan. You build muscle when you rest. You also burn fat. Your body produces testosterone, which if you're natural and you want to maximize your natural testosterone production, this is extremely important, all right? 7 to 8 hours of sleep minimum. Sleeping in a cold, dark room. Doesn't have to be freezing cold, but on the colder side is better than the warmer side. All right. Ideally, no phone at least an hour before bed, but bare minimum 30 minutes before bed. You can also, if you have an iPhone, put it on a mode where it goes into basically the red light mode, so it's not as bad for you. At 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. And beyond. I have my phone set up like that. So once I hit 7 p.m., it goes into the red mode. So even I still have to look at my phone, talking to clients, whatever, etc. I'm working too hard for you guys. No, but I love helping you guys out. All right. It's not as bad. Okay. But ideally put the phone away, especially an hour before bed. You're going to see a massive difference. Walking also during the day, 2 walks. I tell my clients, I don't have you count steps. Some people like to do it. Fine. But I don't like counting my calories. I also like counting my steps. But what I do have is the after walking protocol. So I have 2 meals a day, and after those meals, I walk for at least 10 minutes. All right. So after lunch, boom, have a quick lunch, then walk 10 minutes. Now, sometimes that turns into 15 or 20 minutes, sometimes even more. But a lot of times it's just 10 minutes because, again, I have to get back to my clients. I have other work I need to do. Maybe I'm doing a video like this, etc. All right. And a lot of my clients, I have a client who is an emergency surgeon. He eats his lunch. He goes for a 10-minute walk and he has to be back in there. He can't really do that much more than that. Even just around the block, all right? Even if it's less than that, even just 5 minutes, all right? But I say 10 minutes if you can. So if an emergency surgeon can walk 10 minutes after his lunch, then so can you, all right? And so can I. So we all can do this. This will massively improve your digestion. You will feel better, right? It's normal to get a little tired in the afternoon, but you don't want to have a crash, right? This will reduce that, especially if you're doing carnivore for your lunch, and this will actually help with your sleep later on. Okay. The lazy philosophy: consistency beats motivation. All right. When you make fitness simple and you remove the biggest barrier of all, which is decision fatigue, right? You only have so much willpower or ability to make decisions and stick to them throughout the day. And this is why most people end up cheating at the end of the day. Okay. But when you have a system in place, you don't have to think about it. You just follow that system. Okay. 3 workouts a week, 2 meals a day, a clean grocery list. Excuse me. I can't say that. And enough rest to keep you sharp and recovered. Now, let's say you have kids who are teenagers. You can't control what they eat. Maybe when they're 2 or 3 years old, you can change the diet, and so everyone's eating healthy. But when they're older, you don't want to impose your will on them. What you can do, and this is something I give to my clients to do. Let's say your kids are 10, 12, 15, even maybe 18. They're still living at home, right? Cool, no problem. You don't have to impose what you eat on them. You just make a deal with them where, hey, daddy is not allowed to eat these foods. you know, the chocolate, the biscuits, especially a lot of my UK clients, right? Whatever it is you're snacking on it late at night, usually, right? Or chips, whatever. I'm not allowed to eat foods. I'm only allowed to eat meat, fruit, veggies, some dairy, and honey. All right. And if you cheat on that, they catch you, then you owe them $100 or £100 or whatever. Right. This makes it fun. And also, you're not trying to impose your will on them. Right. So they don't think, oh, dad's trying to do this, whatever. This way, if there's still bad food in your house, then you can get around that. And you make it kind of fun for your kids to help keep you involved. Right. If you have a wife or a partner, you should obviously talk with her. She doesn't have to eat like how you eat, but she should know how you're eating, right? So, boom, oh, man, you guys got so much free game in this video. It's crazy, right? All right, so the ironic truth. The funny thing is when people see my routine, which is just 3 workouts a week, eating meat, fruit, and veggies, they say that's too easy. There's got to be more to it. But guess what? The ones who actually stick to this get results. Fitness isn't about intensity. It's about sustainability. Yes, some of the workouts can be intense. I love intense workouts, right? But that should not be the main focus. If you're working out consistently, some of them are going to be intense just because you're feeling good. You're feeling good and you have a lot of energy. But you don't want to make that the main priority, right? Sustainability is the main priority. And when you stop chasing extremes, you start mastering the basics, you're going to win, all right? So that's why I like to call this the lazy way to build an aesthetic body, or the lazy way to get lean. Right? It's really the efficient way, because if you have kids, you have a demanding job, you have a business, you're an emergency surgeon, right? Maybe you're a firefighter, whatever your job is, right? Most of us have pretty demanding jobs, whether it's demanding mentally and or physically. And you only have so much power to make decisions, right? So which is why fitness needs to be efficient. The guys who train smarter, recover better, and stay consistent over time always end up looking better, and more importantly, feeling better, being healthy, than guys who just grind themselves into the ground. All right, so the implementation of the system. If this approach makes sense to you, if you're done overcomplicating fitness and you want a simple, effective plan that actually fits your life, this is exactly what I teach inside my coaching program. It's built around the 3x30 system, right? So 3 workouts a week, 30 minutes a session. But with my clients, I work with them using the core 4 as a foundation, but we customize the workouts, all right, according to their needs. Maybe you have a knee that hurts, and so maybe you don't want to do squats. All right, cool, we can work with you, all right? Nutrition, all right, you know you need to eat healthy, but you're probably not because of X, Y, Z, so work with you on that. And integrate the things I talked about in this video into your life so that it's automatic, right? And then you're consistently doing this, right? If you're ready to transform, you want to drop fat, build lean muscle, right, and finally stay consistent, then you can click the link down below, apply for coaching. There's also a free, if you're a complete beginner, there's a free 30-day kettlebell challenge guide. And this is not 30 days of working out. It's only working out every other day, so 3 or 4 times a week. And you can sign up there, right? But if you're working out consistently, or at least somewhat consistently, but you still have that extra body fat, right, and you want to lose weight, or at least reduce your body fat like I did, or like my clients do, then you can apply down below, and I hope to see you there. But you have so much free information in this video. I have so many other videos. Please just binge watch my videos, take notes, start applying it, see some results. And if you want extra help, then you can apply for coaching. Much love. Have a great rest of your day, and God bless.